In Marriage and Money, tips to selling a family business. With us now is Jim Uren, the CFP with Phase 3 Advisory Services. What are the challenges of selling a business if it was owned by a husband or wife and that spouse passes away?
Yeah, good question. So the first challenge is obviously selling a business while grieving. Because grieving not only makes everything harder, but the research has actually shown that grieving may hinder our memory and our decision-making process. So with as much money at stake, if anyone can delay selling the business without it losing value or dissolving, it's usually advisable to do that if possible. But your next big challenge, obviously, is going to be getting a fair price for the business, because often the death of the primary owner-operator of the business, it can basically mean that the business was just not as valuable as it once was. So it's best usually to find a business broker who knows your specific industry and can help you set a fair price. And really the third big challenge that we see is needing to minimize a tax bill once the business is sold. So it's usually best to find an experienced tax advisor who can help you structure the sale of the business in a way that's more beneficial from a tax standpoint.
Is there planning that can be done beforehand?
Yeah, very good question, Angela. The first and perhaps the best way to avoid many of these problems is to have what is called a buy-sell agreement in place. Now, a buy-sell agreement is a contract where someone agrees to buy the business at a predetermined value in the event that the business owner dies. Now, this buyer, they may be a current business partner, perhaps a family member, or even a competitor. And when you put this in place, it is a huge gift to any surviving spouse, as it does eliminate almost all the challenges that we previously just discussed. However, if you're unable to set up a buy and sell agreement, your best next option is usually just a good old-fashioned life insurance policy, because sometimes a business just has no real value separate from the person who owns the business and operates it. So the value of the business usually just dies with the owner. Now, in this situation, to provide for your surviving spouse, your best bet is really just to use a life insurance policy that's going to be large enough to replace the income that your business was generating.
What needs to happen after the business is sold?
It's really important that the surviving spouse take a close assessment of his or her remaining financial assets and future financial needs so that they can make decisions as regarding to their lifestyle and their career choices, etc. Now, it's also true that tax brackets often change after the death of a spouse. So effective tax planning may be required, and it may require a change in the tax planning strategies that are currently being used. It may you may need to do the opposite of what you're doing. And of course, a review should be done of all business and government related benefits, because some benefits may go away at death or even just change, such as health insurance, whereas some benefits may kick in at death, such as a Social Security benefit or an employer pension. So really, whatever the situation, we advise that anyone who's a surviving spouse needing to sell a business, that they seek out the correct financial, tax, and legal professionals to really help them navigate these major and sometimes irreversible decisions.
Thank you very much for all of this great information.
Great. Thank you very much.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.